I'm going to be giving you 17 must-know tips if you are looking to travel around Southeast Asia. Now, this is a highly requested video, so make sure you get your notepads and let's be ready. But before we begin, I'm Joel and I traveled around Southeast Asia for over 7 months and I made a lot of mistakes. But this is why I've got these tips so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So let's begin with tip number 1, and that is get a SIM card. Whatever country I go to in Southeast Asia, I always get a SIM card, so I have access to the internet everywhere. The data is actually really good and it's also extremely cheap. So for about 10 gigabytes, you can often expect to spend about £5 to £10. Now, tip number 2 is try the street food. Honestly, the street food is amazing in Southeast Asia. Probably my favorite cuisine in the whole world. You think about Thai, Indonesian, Vietnam, all the food is amazing and I highly recommend trying it. Don't go for the pizzas or the pastas. Eat the local food. 1, it is extremely cheap, and 2, it is so good and honestly, you're gonna love it. Don't just stick to like the pad thais and the curries. Try like the local like banh mi's in Vietnam and all that kind of stuff. I'll put a list of all the things you should try whilst you're in Southeast Asia. A lot of people worry about food poisoning in Southeast Asia, but don't worry too much. If you see the food being cooked really hot in front of you, being fried up, then the chances are you will be absolutely fine. So don't worry, go and eat the street food and you will absolutely love it. So let's move on to tip number 3, and that is make sure you pack light. If you're going backpacking for a long time, you don't want to fill up your bag with loads of stuff. I tend to bring stuff enough for 8 to 10 days. And so every 8 to 10 days, I do a wash. You can either do this with a laundry service or bring travel wash, and you can do it yourself and hang up your stuff out to dry. A lot of people bring like 3 or 4 pairs of shoes, and you don't need to. I bring 1 trainers and 1 flip-flops. If you want more information on packing your bag, next week's video on Sunday is going to be packing my bag for Thailand, which I'm going to in a couple of weeks. So make sure you subscribe, turn notifications on, and next Sunday, be there. So tip number 4, if you are worried about maybe not meeting friends or about safety or whatever, then I recommend going with a tour company, Gap360, who are the sponsor of this video. Gap360 are a UK-based travel company that offer 200 trips in over 50 amazing destinations all over the globe. They specialize in group adventures from 18 to 30s with a team of expert travel advisors to help you plan your trip, from flights, visa advice, travel insurance and budget planning. They even help you build your round-the-world adventures, giving you all the support you need along the way. You can take a pick from a number of different trip styles, including paid work, short trips, learning and development, volunteering, around the world experiences, and much more. The perfect thing about traveling with Gap360 is that you'll be in a group with other like-minded travelers, and by the end of the trip, you'll have friends from all over the world. Traveling with Gap360 also means you get a personal travel advisor to help you plan trip every step of the way, and you'll have access to 24/7 emergency support whilst abroad. They have a huge selection of trips to choose from, with the most popular in Southeast Asia called Thai Adventure. This trip features a month of experiences around Thailand, including helping out at an ethical elephant project, off-the-grid jungle treks, island chilling on Koh Phi Phi and more. And for those of you who want to do it all, they even have a trip that goes to the 4 Southeast Asian countries called Southeast Asia Adventure, taking you to the highlights of Thailand, Laos, Cambodia and Vietnam. If you're interested in one of these tours, I'll leave the links in the description. Let's move on to tip number 5. What time of the year is best to go? That depends where you are in Southeast Asia. If you're in Indonesia in the south, then the best time to go is during the European summer, so from like May to September. However, if you're in Thailand, then it's the opposite, and the best time to go is from October to March. There is always somewhere in Southeast Asia where it is the dry season, so whatever time you're looking to go, don't worry. If you want to avoid rain, you're good. If you're looking to go into rainy season, then it doesn't rain all day. It's just like an afternoon downpour, and prices are cheaper and less tourists, so there are benefits to going in rainy season. The next tip is make sure you get a travel card, or 2, because when I go, I don't have any ATM fees. Your bank back at home will probably charge you to withdraw money in a foreign country, and the exchange rates won't be very good. Whereas with a travel card, you'll get really good exchange rates and probably no ATM withdrawal fees. What I would recommend is Revolut or Monzo, or if you do want another one, then Caxton. I've used all these 3 and they're really, really good. So tip number 7 is get clothes and stuff when you're out there. So a lot of things are so much cheaper in Southeast Asia. So if you're looking to buy new trousers, new shorts, a new t-shirt, then get stuff out there. If you can haggle, then you'll likely get a really good price for it, and you'll save money for them buying it before the trip. However, some stuff like sun cream and that is actually more expensive in Southeast Asia as the locals don't use it. So just keep that in mind. So tip number 8 is try and take local transport. It is a lot cheaper than going in minibuses and taxis and stuff. So if you take that, you'll likely save a lot of money. The other thing is, instead of going on flights to other countries, try the overland. So I took buses across borders from like Laos to Vietnam, and all the countries you can normally go overland, and that is a lot cheaper. Just make sure you got the right visas and everything required for the land border. Number 9 is, I haven't said it, but obviously stay in hostels, but use hostels for their advice, because they are so knowledgeable and they will want to help. And also other people in hostels, they will help you out. If they've been traveling already and got some experience, they could recommend really good places to go. And with any queries, honestly, hostels are so useful. Number 10, and this is not something for everyone, but if you can, if you're confident, then rent a moped. It gives you so much freedom to go wherever you want, whenever you want, and the longer time you rent a moped, the cheaper price you will get it. So honestly, if you want freedom, rent a moped and you will love it. However, make sure you're not being scammed. Take a picture or a video so that any scrapes or anything, that you've got evidence, just in case they try and scam you or whatever. Never give them your passport, because then they've got all the leverage. Just make sure you give them maybe a driving license or something not as valuable. Tip number 11, how to choose the best hostel. I use booking.com, agoda.com and Hostelworld. On all of these, they've got a rating, and if it's above 8 or even 9, they are such good hostels and I recommend them. Always look at the reviews, because sometimes they might be like really good for solo backpackers or stuff like that. So look at the reviews, look at the rating, and then you're guaranteed to stay at some really good hostels. The other thing is, sometimes staying in a private room is either the same price or even cheaper than staying in a hostel. So if you're with another person, keep that in mind, and you can even get your own room for cheaper. So one of the most common questions I get is, what about the language barrier? Like, I only speak English. How am I going to survive in Southeast Asia? And honestly, especially if you're in touristy places, so many people know English now. It's actually crazy. I was so surprised how many people spoke English, but learning a couple of words of the local language and they will love it. They often smile, laugh, and they will really appreciate you trying to learn the local language. But don't worry, if you don't, then sign language honestly goes a long way. You'd be surprised. Give it a go. If you can't communicate, use Google Translate. So number 13 is just be confident. So if you're worried about not pleasing people, be confident. No one knows who you are. In hostels, other people are in the same situation that you are. Okay, so they just want to meet people and go out for dinner or, go clubbing or whatever. So be confident, talk to other people, and you're guaranteed to meet lots of other travelers. One side note, because of COVID at the moment, there's not loads of solo travelers, but it does seem to be picking back up. Some of my friends in Thailand are saying that there's enough people, but it's not overcrowded like it was before. So just keep that in mind. If you are a bit worried, maybe wait a bit or go with a friend. So tip number 14, and this is probably the most important app to have on your phone if you're a backpacker, and that is maps.me. They are offline maps, so you can access maps and look where to go even if you don't have a SIM card or any Wi-Fi, and so they will save you in so many circumstances. And they also have like little notes like, oh, a $2 pad thai here or something, and so they're actually really useful because other backpackers can make notes or markers and tell you that, oh, really good food here, or do your laundry here, or something like that. So tip number 15 is what visa to get, or what visa do I need for Southeast Asia? And every country varies, okay? So Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, and Thailand, most countries you can get in without needing a visa, so it's free. So other countries like Cambodia, Laos, you actually have to pay. So just keep that in mind and make sure you do research before you go. Often you can find it on your government website or something, so maybe look for that. So tip number 16 is take motorbike taxis. If you're confident on the back of a motorbike, then you can get much cheaper deals getting from A to B on a motorbike taxi rather than a normal standard taxi. So do that if you want to save some money. The other thing is walk places in cities because, yeah, you'll save money again. So tip number 17, and this is a really, really important one, and that is avoid over planning. A lot of people plan their trip exactly to the point, and honestly, part of the great thing about traveling is being free to go wherever you want, whenever you want, especially if you are solo. So don't plan your trip exactly. I flew into Cambodia and then I ended up going to Laos and Vietnam when I wasn't even planning on going there. So keep that in mind and just go with the flow and just trust that everything will work out. Ask the locals, ask hostel people, and everything will be fine. Be confident, be wild, be free. Okay, so one more tip. If you've got any questions, please DM me on Instagram or even leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. I'll help you out. If you like the video, please, just once, just smash this like button, okay? Because it really does help me out. And I am going to Thailand very, very shortly. So if you want to see my Thailand series and everything about Thailand and traveling Southeast Asia, then please subscribe to me, and I'm going to be in Southeast Asia for hopefully most of this year. So please subscribe. Okay guys, I will see you in the next video where I'm going to be packing my bag for Thailand. Here we go.